What's up YouTube, it's TCG here and welcome to another TCG deck profile video on my channel. Today we're going to be checking out a control deck. I know that stall after rotation is not going to be very great because we lose cards like Ace Rolla, Max Potion, Plumeria, etc. But we still have one of those decks around in the form of Shedinja. Of course this guy has the ability Vessel of Life. That means once during our turn we can discard all cards underneath Shedinja and equip it to one of our Pokemon. And if it's knocked out, that Pokemon, we can just deny the opponent from taking a prize card. So the opponent will not take a prize card if they knock something out with a Shedinja equipped. So that's why we're going to be running a tick line, a 4-4 line of Shedinja. So if you're interested in seeing the rest of the Shedinja list, be sure to watch the rest of the video because this is kind of an updated version with the post-rotation shenanigans. Also, if you're enjoying the post-rotation content, be sure to demolish the like button as always, since that definitely supports the channel a lot. So this is also a suggested video by one of you folks. So here we have it, a 4-4 line of Shedinja. That way we can immediately, of course, get an Inkata in play and evolve it the turn afterwards, so we can get Shedinjas in play very quickly. Of course, we have a lot of Ball Surge that is rotating out. Think about Great Ball, Ultra Ball, Nest Ball. But we still have, of course, cards like Net Ball. We have Communication, we have Professor Alm's lecture, so that things are still looking great. We're going to be running the 4-4 line of Zebstrika with Sprint. This is the one from Lost Thunder. Why are we going to be running 4 copies of this? We are going to be getting this out as quickly as possible. That way we can sprint all the way and dig for all of our puzzle pieces. We can just discard a lot of our cards and dig through our entire deck. And the reason that we're going to do that is that we're going to be relying on Oranguru for the resource management, so we can put the cards that we want on the bottom of the deck. We can draw them out immediately with Sprint, and then we can just keep continuing spreading, of course, those Shedinjas on our field, and the opponent will never ever take a prize card. And that's why this deck still works. Why is this deck still amazing? Well, let me just say this. Field Blower is rotated out, so they cannot Field Blower away our Shedinja. And also the Guzma is rotated down. That means that if they want to target something on the bench, they only have 2 options to do that. They can go for Custom Catcher, but they only have 2 Gusting cards in their deck, or they can go for Ninetales, and that only works for Fire deck. So we don't have to worry about it too much. So that's why this deck is still good. If you still want an answer against the Shedinja, there's Faba and Lysander Labs. But still, other than that, if they don't run those cards, we're going to be in a great situation. So next up, we're going to be running Blitzel with 60 HP. The 60 HP is the way to go because we no longer have things like Ultra Ball, Nest Ball, etc. So we want to be running the 60 HP one. So we are going to be able to get it out with the Professor Alm's lecture. So that's as simple as that. Next up, Oranguru, 2 copies of that. You might even include an extra copy if you find the room for it. But Oranguru will be here for resource management. If we can get this out and attach an energy to it, we can just get 3 cards from our discard pile and stack it on the bottom of the deck. And with a couple of Zebstrika up in the field, we can definitely draw all those cards out immediately. So things like Brock's Grid are amazing to get back because we can get back 6 in combination of Pokemon and energy cards. So that's going to be fantastic. The reason that we're going to do that, we're just going to get an Oranguru in the active position, attach an energy, equipped it with a Shedinja, and then of course use the research management to get, of course, an Oranguru, an energy, and whatever we want, even another line of Shedinja and Ninjas thanks to the Brock's Grid, and we can repeat the strategy over and over and over again. That means that we always have a Shedinja equipped onto our Oranguru. Next up, there's gonna be 1 copy of the Persian. This is an interesting one from Team Up with Make and Pay. That means we can just dish 20 damage. And if the opponent has 4 or more cards in their hand, they reveal their hand and we can discard cards we find there until the opponent only has 4 cards left. That means if they hang on to their custom catchers until they're ready to use them, or maybe they have 1 in the hand, we can sometimes promote this guy, equip the Shedinja as well, that doesn't even matter too much, and then use Make and Pay to discard those custom catchers. That way we're gonna be in a much better position. How do we get this Persian out? Are we gonna run Meowth? Well, no, that's not what we're gonna do here. We're gonna be running one copy of the Ditto Prism Star. The Ditto Prism Star will make sure that we are gonna be able to evolve into either Zebstrika, Shedinja, or Persian. So if you definitely want need for the Persian, you can just evolve your Ditto into Persian, but you don't always need Persian, but it's definitely an interesting way if the opponent has a great deck and you want to get rid of some resources. So Ditto Prism Star, very amazing in this type of list because we're gonna be running a lot of stage 1 techs. Okay, that's that. And then one copy of the Mew. Mew is in here just because Pikarom is still very hot right now, and a lot of people are still playing that. It's very consistent after rotation. Mew with the bench barrier will make sure that all of our Pokemon on the bench are safe. So that way things like the Tag Ball GX will not hinder us too much. Same goes for the Ultra Necrozma. After testing, I've seen that the Ultra Necrozma list use the Giratina to just damage their self. So yeah, they knock Pokemon from their self out. That way they can actually get, of course, to a point where they have exactly 6 or fewer prize cards between both players, and they can use that attack of Ultra Necrozma GX to just get, of course, damage all over the field. That's why we're also running the Mew here. So these are all the Pokemon in the list. So we have Persian, Ditto, and Mew as some tech cards here, but other than that, it's straightforward 4-4 line, 4-4 line, and then 2 Oranguru. Next up, supporters. 4 copies of the Professor Elm's Lecture, very straightforward. This gets out Pokemon with 60 HP or less. The good thing is that Shedinja also has 40 HP, so that means we can also get it out with Professor Elm's Lecture. First off, we're just gonna get out a couple of Blitzle and Ditto. Afterwards, we can get out the Nincada with Netball, so that's just how it goes. Alright. Next up, 4 copies of Lily. So sometimes we don't start with Professor Elm's Lecture and we're gonna have to be resorting to Lily. This is also great on the opening turn, drawing a lot of cards. That way you also draw into this basic Pokemon or Pokemon communication, so it's not that bad. Next up is gonna be Ingo and Emmett. We don't see this very often, but this is actually very interesting because we can either draw from the bottom of the deck or from the top of the deck. We can just look at the top card of our deck and then just decide we draw the top 5 or we draw the bottom 5. And drawing the bottom 5 will be ideal to abuse the resource management. So that's why this is also part of our supporter crew. Then a couple of one-offs. There's a lot of them in here. We're gonna be running 1 copy of the Tate and Liza. Not as it's also great to just shuffle, but we also have, of course, the switching effect. And with, of course, the resource management, we can just keep getting this up and rolling into our deck. So it's not that bad, just have a one-off. Then Mars. Mars is always amazing. You can draw 2 cards and then we can discard a random card from the opponent's hand. If you don't get out your Persian, this can be a way to just hopefully discard some of those custom catchers that bother us. So there's that. Next up, 1 copy of Fawa. This is gonna be used in the mirror match to get, maybe not in the mirror match, but whatever. You can just put a Pokemon Tool card, Special Energy, or and the Stadium card in the Lost Zone. This is gonna be used to get, of course, these pesky Lysander Labs in the Lost Zone. But also you can get sometimes disrupt the opponent by discarding Special Energy. I also noticed that the Blacephalon list tried to get that Beast Energy onto their Naganadel so they can one-shot or Zebstrika. So maybe we can put that in the Lost Zone as well. I did that as well in testing. Then 1 copy of the Brock's Grid, the best card in the list, because with Oranguru, we can just put this back on the bottom of the deck, play it every single turn and get all of these Pokemon back, even energy, so that's why it's fantastic. And then 1 copy of the Lieutenant Search, so we can use all of these supporters once more. So all of these supporters we can just use multiple times. So if we use Lieutenant Search, we're also always gonna be behind in prize cards. That way we can still use 2 more supporters. That can mean you can use a Brock's Grid in combination with like let's say a Faba. So you can use 2 supporters at once. So I think Lieutenant Search is nice. Definitely want to go, if you want to go to your deck faster, you can use Sprint, Lieutenant Search, Ingo and Emmett, and even the Lily, so things go very, very quickly. Then 4 copies of the Pokegear. You don't want to be breaking with this kind of deck, so 4 copies of the Pokegear will make sure we can get that first turn Elm or Lily on the very first turn, so we don't get, of course, a bad start. We want our Pokemon up and rolling, so 4 Pokegear will help with that. Next up, we're going to be running 4 copies of the Netball. Netball is also one of those fantastic cards where you can just get, of course, a basic type energy or a Nincada. And you typically want to use Elm's Lecture for all Blitzles and Ditto Prism Star, and then the Netball for the Nincada. That's the only thing we're going to search out. Also, you can search out an energy, so it's not that bad at all. Then, 4 copies of the Pokemon Communication. This is gonna be the way we are gonna be using it to get everything we want. We can no longer rely on Ultra Ball, so we use Communication. Sometimes you use Net Ball, get a Nincada, use Communication to get Zebstrika. It's all possible with this kind of deck. There's a lot of Pokemon we can choose from, so that's why we can just safely rely on Pokemon Communication. Something I'm testing out in this deck that has not disappointed me yet is a Pokénav. Pokénav, we can look at the top 3 cards of our deck and we can reveal an energy card or a Pokemon we find there. And the reason that this is so great is that yeah, we have so many Pokemon that means if we use Pokénav, we sometimes, or most of the times, will find a Pokemon or an energy card, and then we can just simply get it if it's great, or use Communication to swap it for something else. Alright, next up, to make the deck a little bit more quick, we have Acrobike. It doesn't even matter if you discard all crucial cards because we can get them back with the resource management. So 4 copies of the Acrobike, otherwise our deck is just way too slow. We use Acrobike, we use Ingo and Emmet, we use Sprint. We're gonna go through our entire deck and then we resource management Brock's Grid and try to loop our Shedinjas. Then 1 copy of the Palpat. Palpat will be able to recover all of these amazing supporters, so we can use something like Research Management, Palpat, and then we can get 2 supporters back in the deck, and things will go fluently. And then for energies, it's very simple. We're going to be running 2 fire energies and 1 grass energy. The reason we're running 1 grass energy is that it is searchable with Net Ball. So certain situations you want to get an energy onto your Oranguru, you use Net Ball for an energy. But why do 2 fire? Because as mentioned, you want to go as quickly as possible through your deck, and the meta is filled with fire. So a lot of these decks, think about Mewtwo, Mew box decks. We have of course the Reshizard, we have Blacephalon. All of these decks have one thing in common: they run Heat Factory, and we want to be abusing that. So if we have a fire energy in the hand, we can use Heat Factory, draw into our deck quicker, and get our Pokemon up and rolling. So this is another deck profile for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, be sure to demolish the like button. Let me know what you think about the Shedinja list. Are you gonna tech for it? Are you gonna put Lysander Labs in your deck? Maybe 1 copy of Faba? Let me know. Also, are you a fan of Pokénav, or do you have a better solution? I'm definitely curious to hear your opinion. Anyhow, have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.